Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Joining me today is General Ravi Shankar, and we are hoping that General Dushyant Singh also will make it. Unfortunately, General Rajiv Narayanan will not be able to make it. Let's welcome General Ravi Shankar now, and then hopefully very soon General Dushyant also will join. Namaskar, sir. How are you?
Namaskar and thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Shriya ji. I hope you had a safe flight back home and you got over your hangover.
Yes, indeed, sir. I had a lot of fun coming back. I did actually watch the movie Sam Bahadur, which I
Okay.
thought was pretty well made film.
Yeah, it
And
is.
I understood that General Yahya Khan and Sam Manekshaw were both working with Auchinleck,
Yes.
and they had some sort of a friendship going about his motorcycle that he sells it for 1,000 rupees to Yahya Khan. He never bothered paying him, and so on and so forth. Interesting story, well done. I think it was well displayed. So people who have not seen it, do watch it, especially since India is now basking in the glory of a very successful 4-day skirmish. General Ravi Shankar, this was supposed to have taken place on Friday night, but then we had scheduling conflicts, so we are having it today. India has a long haul challenge, meaning like it needs to plan for something where these kind of pinpricks could get bigger, could be multifaceted, could be from three different directions, perhaps even one inside. So it could be suddenly a 3.5 warfare. So long haul, how is India looking at itself? And now there are squeezes being put on. I mean, squeeze being put on Bangladesh by India, squeeze being put on Pakistan by India, IWT, and so on. And China probably will start putting squeeze on India if he feels that a certain material which goes into making some critical component, let's say for Akash Tir, that if India is importing it from China, it could just say, well, you don't get this. So I'm just leaving the floor to you, sir. What do you think?
Right. That's a fair question. Now that the kinetics are over, and I don't think they'll recommence in a hurry unless something drastically goes wrong. We are in for the long haul. And like the Prime Minister said, no talks on except on terror, no talks except on POK. Blood and water doesn't flow down, the rivers. These are the long haul issues. What do we see today after this has happened and all that? We see a flood of disinformation going all around the world. All Pakistani handles amplified by Chinese media and platforms and Chinese handles, both. Even in YouTube, in my own channel, I see a lot of people coming and giving no opinion. It's consistently being reinforced that India lost 6 fighters for Rafales. It varies from 3, 4, 5, 6. India has lost, but yet it celebrates victory and things like that. And of course, there are other dirty things which we'll talk of. And this is finding now echo in leftist media like New York Times and Washington Post. Uh, they've fallen. I wouldn't say fallen. You, uh, uh, China always had a handle into the American media in a big way. So that's being amplified. It's also being amplified in TikTok. That's the thing. The Pakistanis feel they have won. That's it. Why feel they have won is something different, but they have won. The important part here is, before this uh, Op Sindoor, Pakistan was in the dumps. Its economy was shattered. The Pakistan army was not respected by anyone. A lot of problems. The government was looked upon as if it wasn't their government. A lot of focus on Baluchistan, this, that, and all that. This event has revived all these chaps. And I would say that this is a planned revival. It's not just like that. And this has two issues to it. One, revive the army. Two, give Asim Munir an extension. Understand the logic and then you'll see. Uh, Asim Munir was coming to a point where he needed something so that extension comes naturally to him. So what does he do? He speaks in the overseas Pakistanis enclave where he talks of, you know, uh, Muslims and Hindus are from different ideologies, and Pakistan is a great nation. All that. Kashmir is our juggler. He speaks all that. Immediately after that, Pahalgam happens. India is forced to react. We have reacted. This has happened. The entire nation is rallied around Pakistan, and they know that they're going to lose. So beforehand, they have a complete disinformation, plan ready, and that's put into action before anything happens. Okay. Now suddenly, what the clobbering they got, it is immaterial to Pakistan. It is immaterial to Pakistan, but they've turned it. They're turning it into a victory, and China is very happy about it. Part of which they know what's happened. Okay, but now everyone is now questioning. Oh, did India lose so much? No one is questioning the fact that Pakistan got clobbered and it was brought to its knees, and Pakistan had to go to Mr. Trump and say, "Yaar, mere ko bachao." That story, this is the thing. So, and Asim Munir is likely to get 2 more years. Let's be very honest. I won't say 2 years extension. Sabah Sharif's government will endure and everything. And they're now looking happily ever after type. Money they'll always get because the chaps who make the money, in any case, they've got that $1 billion. They'll get more. China will give. So all that is there. What do we do? We have to now switch gears. How do we switch gears? Go back to basics. Where did it start? Right? And I think you have to discredit the army. Basically, that's the whole story. How do you do that? How do you hit the people in a manner which the army stands discredited or it's on the sidelines? The way I look at it, ultimately you have to break Pakistan. Pakistan has to be, you know, I wouldn't say why should I break it? It should disintegrate on its own. But how will that happen? That's the first thing. That's the long haul plan which we should have. Now, that's the long haul. And that is already there, IWT. IWT is the, इसमें अगर हिंदी में बोलूं तो सर्वरोग निवारणी. For what you do with IWT, Indus Water Treaty, is the crux of the problem. The second is Baluchistan. Third is trade. Fourth is Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Right? Fifth is POK itself. I mean, the ground is fertile. How do you want to approach it? So we have to start doing that. But before that long haul, we also have to understand there's an emerging situation. This emerging situation is revolves around China, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Turkey. All these four countries are there. So the long haul is already put in place. We already starting that long haul. How do you handle ease into that long haul? How do you overcome the disinformation which is going around? How do you handle this new nexus which is coming about? Or other these things, then they don't seem connected. So that's how it is. The crux of the problem again is China and Pakistan. How do you squeeze them? Turkey, what do you do with it? What do you do with Bangladesh? These are two separate problems which you can handle separately. They don't, they're not, there are problems. Bangladesh has different connotations. I think we'll need to have a full discussion on Bangladesh sometime. There are 4, 5 streaks to that problem. But and Turkey is something which you have started doing, but the crux is China and Pakistan. Who's the weak link in this? The weak link is Pakistan. Can you squeeze China? You can. Because fundamentally, we need to remember that China and Pakistan are probably at their weakest economically. This first flush, the heat of battle, at least in India, it's gone down. Sooner or later, it will go out of Pakistan also. Something will happen where day to day things will start hitting them. After all, you need money to run the country. People have to eat, people have to live, people have to whatever it is. How long will this last? So that is what. But I think, you know, um, I must bring it to the notice of everyone that, and we, like we discussed, maybe we could discuss that business, the way information overload is going from Pakistan through Chinese mediums. And we'll see how to counter that first, and then we'll see. You could take us through that, Shreyarji.
Next one, please.
Yeah.
So TikTok is not banned in United States. It's not banned in many countries. India has banned it. So India doesn't know what kind of crap is being displayed about India, outside of India, about India. And this is now seen as an alarming trend, especially in the United States. See, what is happening is the youth of United States is being influenced in a very anti-India way. They call Indians Pajeets, Pajeet. I didn't even know this word until there was a Network Contagion Research Institute survey on what anti-India narratives are being played out. This happened about 3 years ago. The gentleman had come on our channel and explained the data that they found. Channels like 4chan, Telegram, TikTok, these are all things that we are not familiar with in India. We are used to YouTube, Facebook, perhaps a little bit of X. So you are not even aware where all you are being sullied, where you are being taken to the cleaners. Some of the things that they use to depict you, they take one remote, obscure example and make it apply as if the entire country does what is being shown in that particular example. This is something that 4chan, TikTok, they don't care. They just they let you put anything you want. There's no censorship of any sort. And unfortunately, people are hooked onto it because especially TikTok is very flashy, glamorous, and the way they display things, you understand, those of you who have used TikTok in the past. And 4chan is a little bit more harder edged, and they use expletives frequently. In fact, you have to look for language between expletives. That's more like the way I need to put it. And Telegram is somewhere in between. Telegram has some pro-Russia tilt, according to some. I have not used Telegram enough to tell you one way or the other. But right now, what is happening is Pakistan is reportedly leveraging TikTok to manipulate narratives, positioning itself as a victim akin to Gaza, and portraying India as the aggressor in South Asia. So these false equivalences sometimes will work if it is not challenged. That is the problem. General Ravi Shankar, I'll pause here, then we can go to the next one where we'll show some
Yeah, the
examples.
issue about Gaza, portraying itself as Gaza. Actually, it tells you something positive also. It tells you that they've been hammered. It tells you
That's
that they've
true.
been hammered, right? So, and this is pretty important, that they're going on a platform where they can, the thing is, TikTok today, who sees most? USA after China and Pakistan also. Not many people see TikTok, incidentally. They won't even understand what's happening there. So they're destroying India's image in USA. It's not a matter of destroying India's image, it's a matter of destroying the Indian image. And considering the amount of Indians, NRIs who are there, or diaspora who's there, who are pretty prominent in all walks of life out there, this kind of a sullying of the Indian image is not good. I'll say it is downright unhealthy for all of us. Okay, and it is disparaging. So that's my view. I think you should take it forward and open up the rest of the slides. We'll come to that.
Yeah, so some of the examples of misinformation circulating. India is an aggressor in South Asia. why Indians don't shower. Excuse me? Where did they get that? I mean, pretty soon Pakistan is going to not have enough water to shower. Are they imagining themselves, or they are looking to project what they think they are going to undergo soon? I don't know. This I found it very, very odd. India is a dirty, unsafe country. Well, you should come and look for yourself. Take a look for yourself. I feel very safe in India. People are very nice, and it's not like what you face in some of the third world countries. And again, who are you to make these kinds of judgment? What they will do, General Ravi Shankar, is they'll take some obscure video, some segment. In fact, you know that something that you said on our channel on Ganashad and P Guru
Got
simultaneous transmission got taken out of context. And India lost the war to Pakistan, and Hindus are weak, dirty, and uncivilized. You know what? We could care less what you think, because out on the ground, Pakistan has suffered hugely. India has afflicted injuries on 4 of the 8 nuclear sites, and they might have gone on to make all 8 also if they wanted to make a point. If they did not call it off, that is, the Pakistani DGMO calls on his knees saying stop, and it had no footprint of Trump on it. Watch Sridhar Chetiala's conversation with me about an hour and a half ago on what really played there, how we think what happened, how Trump got misled by a few. All that stuff is there in that. You should take a look at it and then make your own judgment. Don't have to take our word for it. Lot of stuff has come out on that. So this is how we are being portrayed in all these channels. And even though I'm based in the US, I'm also guilty of not looking at this because I just don't have the bandwidth. And the bigger fear here is, what do we do about it? That's where I'm looking to
yeah,
some answers from you, sir. We
yeah.
can take it away.
Now, I just want to highlight. They said India is an unsafe country. I just like to put across one point, which I heard from a excerpt of a Pakistani show. That was a serious show in which they said uh, teenage pregnancies in Pakistan. How do they happen? Because a lot of teenage pregnancies, they're terminated, they're medically terminated. And then that panel was discussing, there was a gynecologist, Pakistani gynecologist, and this fellow Hamid Mir of Geo TV was the anchor. So this lady was telling, Pakistan has the highest incident of teenage rape by incest. Who, what kind of incest are you talking of? By fathers, by brothers, by uncles, and their own people. And so and that thing they get, I mean, this is the highest. And this is being told by a Pakistani. I mean, my eyes popped off. Is that feasible? This is the kind of a country that is, and it calls India unsafe. One. Number two, Indians in USA have risen to the highest positions. Are they dirty? Don't they follow international norms and human values? We're talking of the set of rogues who went to Pahalgam and killed innocent people, and in front of their own wives, and whatever, after checking out their religion. You talk of these people and they say Hindus are dirty. What kind of guys are they? And I go back to the time, when I first, long back, I wouldn't say
Sir, if
first
I
time,
could
when,
interrupt you for 1 second, let's
yeah,
welcome
yeah, yeah,
General Dushyant Singh.
yeah,
General Dushyant Singh,
Dushyant,
namaskar.
welcome.
Thanks for joining us, sir. I will clue you in on the question in just a few moments. I'll let General Ravi Shankar finish his statement because I want your inputs also on a very important TikTok management by Pakistan to try and further their word. Sir, let us finish. Let General Ravi Shankar finish his thought, and then I'll come to you, sir. Over to you, General
You
Ravi
know,
Shankar.
yeah, long back, we'd gone. In fact, that was the time when Gen Dushyant was also in the Naval Postgraduate School. I had gone to the Naval Postgraduate School, and we were there for some time. I remember once I was interacting with, American lady out there. She was a course coordinator of our course. And I asked her, how do you feel about India and Pakistan and all? She says, sir, Indians, we envy them. From a normal American, because they're so good, so humble, they're studious, law abiding, everything. And I said, what about Pakistanis? Pakistanis, sir, I'm very uncomfortable to have a Pakistani around. And I'm talking to you because that Pakistani officer is not around me. And they're generally shady people dealing in shady businesses like carpets and all that. So where there is smuggling involved, that kind. So this is that country which is now gone about. And who's backing them? China. Same China which has looted America. If today America is at the cusp of losing its status, it is thanks to China. They're talking of we're talking of China, which took everything from America and wants to kill America now. As simple as that. It was aided and, it was an aided economy. If America had not poured in billions of dollars into China, where would China be today? It would have been a sinkhole. But anyway, it will go back there. That I'm very confident. It's not this transformation won't last beyond the point. So this kind of a thing we need to, I wouldn't say counter. You can't counter it officially. It's the people have to counter. And my view is that Indians in America, in whatever way they are, whether they're green card holders or they're F1 visa holders studying, or they're naturalized Americans today, or the citizens of America, second generation, third generation, they're all affected. People in America have TikTok. I don't have TikTok to counter this. So I think it is incumbent on the people in USA, people in places where Indians where TikTok exists, to come out with the truth. You don't have to counter that stupid Pakistani nonsense. You have to propagate your own values, which are so strong. You have community values. You have religious values. Everything. Why don't you do that? And this might take. Yeah, I'll yield the
Thank,
floor to General Dushyant.
yeah. So, General Dushyant Singh, let me set the context here for you, sir. Now, what has happened is, even though India has defeated them quite handily and Pakistan is still smarting from the blows, what has happened is that it has been able to use some of the channels such as TikTok, 4chan, and some other names are also being bandied about, where India and Indians almost have no presence to push back against fake narratives. And some of the fake narratives that they are using is here. India is an aggressor in South Asia. Why Indians don't shower? I mean, this is the first to me that they are saying we don't shower. India is a dirty, unsafe country. India lost the war to Pakistan. Hindus are weak, dirty, and uncivilized. General Dushyant Singh, this something that you probably faced also when you were in the United States. What we are talking about is the info war. How do we tackle it? That's what General Ravi Shankar was answering. But you can take a step back. There is a long haul now. India needs to keep countering these things. And communications wise, China has the tool that Pakistan is exploiting to the fullest. Most likely, China is also pushing some of these channel handle accounts to just make it look as if this is all there is. There is no response from the other side. And I take the responsibility to see what I can to push some of these truths on TikTok. General Dushyant Singh, what exactly do you think is happening here, and how does one counter this? You are a man of few words with maximum impact. Over to you, sir.
First of all, my apologies for joining late because, and you can blame it on the traffic where I was struck. But having said that, coming straight to your question about what is happening in the US, Pakistan has a very strong lobby, and that we have to accept in the US. If you compare the lobbies of Pakistan, they have been actually much before India started its own India caucus, etc. So there is one big fault line at that point. So even at the highest level, there is a little bit of a mismatch there or asymmetry. If I add China to it, I have written in my book that in the year 2018, they actually bought good media. They call it as buying the good media. So they almost have control over most of the leading channels of United States of America, where they have even hired Indian journalists. I mean, that's the most surprising part of it, that even Indian journalists have been hired to propagate an anti-India narrative. That is the second level at which they were working right from the beginning. Now, if you come to the TikTok war, which has suddenly come up in limelight, it was always there. It was not that it was not there. But I would like to add two, three things here. One, a lot of it is also due to our own mistakes in the sense that I have seen a number of channels in India where, sorry, in United States of America, where Indians are making fun of ourselves, right? So, in the name of comedy, actually you're trying to sell certain things which are really not a comedy. It's an indirect reflection of Indian behavior, whether it is Indian behavior, whether it is Indian food habit. I mean, I can quote a number of YouTubers not YouTubers, they are TikTokers in the United States of America who are Indians and trying to make purely for money fun of the Indian culture and Indian society, Indian people. That is also going against us. People are picking up from these kind of TikToks and then propagating it. And the Pakistanis, in any case, have always been past masters in information warfare. That having said, what is the my impression? Look, I had gone to Switzerland once. I'm not going to US now. I'm just quoting you an example of Switzerland, and we reached the shore of the Alps, and we were supposed to go to take that fine trip which every Indian does. So I also was planning for that. In the evening, we wanted to have food, so we went around looking for some restaurant. It was a place outside the city. We found one restaurant written Taj Mahal, and we walked into it. There was a lady who ushered us in, and we got talking to her. And I asked her, "Where do you belong to?" She said, "I belong to Mumbai." She said, "Bombay." Moment she said Bombay, I knew that she's not actually person from Mumbai. Later on, which I found out that she was actually from Lahore. So what I'm trying to say is that most of the people who live abroad, they may be very good on the digital platforms, but when it comes to their behavior in public, most of them hide behind the Indian skin, and
Yes.
there are umpteen examples of that. Why don't we bring out these things? There are Pakistani several celebrities who cry when they are put through certain checks because they are coming from Pakistan on the airfields. I mean, there are ways to fight it. So therefore, what my solution to this problem is that banning is not the solution. I think if you ban something, it creates more kind of mystery into it. So if TikTok we have banned it, we could have also thought of engaging it through TikTok. So maybe if the American Indians are not able to rise up to, as John Shankar is saying, there are very good social media content providers and influencers in India as well who could have used this TikTok to actually browbeat this information warfare which is going on. And I think the government should think over it and actually start looking at reopening TikTok so that we can engage. And in any case, the flavor today is not of banning but of engaging. So even what we are actually trying to propagate in the defense as well is to engage the media and not to ban the media. There will always be people who are naysayers. There will be always people who are, yes, it's the duty of the influencers to swing the neutral guys, who are on the fence sitting like they can jump here or there. They have to be moved to our direction. I think we need to relook at our information warfare strategy so that we are able to communicate to the people the right messaging of what Indians are. I mean, why don't we talk about Sundar Pichai? Why don't we talk about if we were so damn bad, then we shouldn't have been controlling half of the multinationals which are there in the US. So there has been this little two, three, four factors which I feel we need to actually now take a step back, like you said, take a step back and relook at your information warfare strategy. It's a long haul, which I fully agree with you. It is not going to be sorted out in 1 day or 2 days, and we should also not get perturbed by it. Let
Yeah,
me tell you, we should not get perturbed by it. We will ultimately prevail. And this delegation idea, in my view, is fantastic one. I mean, whichever way we have, Congress may do whatever it is doing. That besides, I think the way we are now approaching this entire Op Sindoor after the kinetic action, the non-kinetic actions have just started rolling out, we will see a lot of changes in the information domain. And there are agencies which are, in my opinion, being tasked to do exactly that.
yeah, and I want to add while we'll talk of this thing, this delegation going abroad, what he'll do. But I think there's one important comment which has come by Ashok Gazula. I want to read it out. If you can put this up, I'll be grateful. It says the grooming gang issue has thrown up open the lid on the teenage pregnancies Lieutenant General Shankar was talking about. That's a fault line. What's happened in UK? Yeah, this. You know, uh, this is something which is their vulnerability. I mean, today the government of UK has said that unless people learn English, you can't be, and you have to. They're changing their norms for getting citizenship and all. Why? All these Pakis have gone there, and they're just some parts of Britain are now Pakistan. So I think we need to start doing this. Yeah,
I would also like to add my US experience. I have been in the place where you are now, PIRG, for about almost 2 years. And you will not believe it, I was in a very small place called Monterey, which Jan Shankar also referred to. We had a lot of Pakistani guys also doing the same kind of program which I was doing. And you will not believe it, they still remained isolated. Throughout my 18 months, I did not see a single Pakistani military officer. Really, either they were reaching out, or the Americans were trying to reach out to them. Let me tell you, I had a constant stream of people associating with me. In fact, we had a dinner group and we had a lunch group, so something like that. Like every weekend, every week, once we would go out to dinner, and we explored almost all the restaurants of Monterey, barring the fact that certain things I don't eat and certain things they don't eat. So that was a immaterial thing. But we all sat together, and so if we were so damn, the way those messages which you have flashed, I don't think this would have happened. This is very artificially created movement which these people are indulging in, and for that, partially, like I said, I would also like to blame our quick money makers who want to, for a very small gain, want to highlight certain things. Your language, for example, your accent, for example. Okay, I mean everybody has an accent here. So if a Colombian comes to US, he has an accent. A
General
Californian.
Dushyant Singh, Americans have an accent. What they speak at home is different from what they speak in public.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. So therefore, this targeted attack which is happening, we need to go out in the jungle and fight it. We have been a fighter. If we can fight on the battlefield, I'm sure we
yeah.
can
Why
fight
not there?
Yeah,
Why
why
not
not
there
there?
also? Yeah, why not
And
there?
we are supposed to have more gray cells here. I mean that is something that I can clearly tell you that definitely we have a tremendous edge over our adversary, which is reflected in the business, which is reflected in scientific community. To take the count of scientists in NASA, why don't we propagate that?
Look, let me second you. The unfortunate bit here is that we put our energies and our gray cells into positive things of building up societies, building up codes, creating Google and things like that. The Pakistanis do only this. They only do this. Yeah, I still remember there was a guy who was doing this course with me in USA, a Pakistani guy. The only thing he wanted to do, two things in that whole course. One was to drink, which he couldn't do back home. Okay, and the second was to go to some topless bar there. That's it.
And this is nothing. I'm talking of a GOC of a corps approaching me. At that time, I was a colonel. That guy was a
Uh-huh.
GOC of a corps, go
Uh-huh.
posted as commandant of the NDU of Pakistan. He comes there to defend why we have spent why Pakistan has spent $6 billion of aid which was given to them by the Americans very fruitfully in a justified manner, which they couldn't justify, despite the DGISI Suja Pasa sitting there and trying to put in his own two pennies worth in trying to say that whatever has happened or whatever the Pakistanis have done, they have done for the interest of the Americans. So don't question us. We need more money. You abandoned us. Things like that. In the evening, after the whole discussion, after debate was over, this fellow comes to me and says, "Yeah, do we have some place where we can, freak out and go?" Unfortunately or fortunately, he was from Pakistan's armored corps, so I knew what kind of a thing he would have been looking for. So I told him, it's not the same thing what you're thinking. Don't come with this preformed image of yours. Please behave properly, otherwise they'll throw you out from that, a place where we were called jointly. I mean, there was a group of research scholars who had said, "Okay, let's have a get together in the evening." And the get togethers in the US is that you bring your own wine or you bring some snacks, etc., put it on the table, and you can have anyone's drink and you can have anyone's snack. These guys came khali haath, bilkul ऐसे आ गया, and then they, typically कहाँ है, where is daru, where is that? So अगर इनको बताना, if we start talking about them, I think they have a big facade of being so religious or so culturally different from the way you were also projecting that they are different. The chief said, "We are different. We are different from the Hindus." I think we need to go out. We need to go out, work upon these deformities which are there in the Pakistani psyche and try to bring them out. There will be enough people who will do it. Not a single video comes, but for India, there will be a lot of Indians giving out our own faults. Even as we are talking, I'm sure there will be some of them who would be saying, "Yeah, let's make a TikTok where we will try to undermine them." So half the job is done by the Chinese, one fourth by the Pakistanis, and I suppose 1/10 or 1/12 is done by us, by our people as
On
well.
people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, we have some questions now. A lot of questions, as a matter of fact. Appreciate it if you can keep the answers short. I'll go alternate back and forth if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
yeah, yeah.
Most of them are directed generally at this topic. So let's take some questions now, please. Jyoti Dasgupta, thank you for becoming YouTube member. Akash Krishnan Tadani, sir, this is for you, General Ravi Shankar. Op Sindoor has started and is ongoing. Given Pradhan Mantri's stated objective, this operation has a permanency to its status between kinetic and cruise control. Is there any other status?
Look, ultimate status, the way I look at it, is to get POK back. And that's intended very clearly when the Prime Minister said, we will talk of POK. And the second status is we will break terror. These are the three things he said, isn't it? And the lever for that is terror and blood won't flow. So I think the national objectives are clear, the national interests are clear. Right? We just have to go and get hold of them. That's the way I look at it.
Next question, please. Tanuj Khanna wants to know, why not declare Pakistan state sponsor of terrorism? Also ban any Indian passport holder or OCA card holder from visiting Pakistan. Anyone who does should risk cancellation of passport. So this is to General Dushyant Singh.
Okay, as far as the first part is concerned, I think India is already trying to ensure that Pakistan is declared as a sponsor of terrorism. These delegations, etc., which are going, even the presentation in the UN of 1267 are efforts toward that direction. These things don't happen overnight, but the effort is on. As far as banning Indian passport holder or OCI card holders from visiting Pakistan, well, they are citizens of a different country, but we can think of it in case if somebody is having a link with Pakistan, he should be dealt accordingly. Today, you have seen there are six guys who have been picked up, including some ladies, for having their connections with Pakistan for anti India or against the national security interest of the country. So it's a good suggestion. Maybe the government can think over it.
Next one, please. This is for General Ravi Shankar. Raman wants to know, interesting time ahead for India as Trump policy goes unexpectedly south. Sudden activity on our eastern flank. Is it because US-China tango dance? Why sudden renaming of Arunachal Pradesh places and Himalaya?
Look, this is a complex thing. It needs a full, one episode to discuss all this. Okay. But let me put it in very simple words. Uh, as far as Trump is concerned, I've always said go by his actions, not by his words. वो आज कुछ बोलता है, tomorrow he'll talk something. So don't go by his words. See the actions of American state. Has America acted any time inimical to your thing so far after this? No. Why did this? Everyone says America flipped and gave Pakistan a off ramp for concluding Op Sindoor the way it did, the kinetic part. Why? 2 days before this, JD Vance said, "Look, that's something we're not getting involved with. Let America, let India and Pakistan sort themselves out." So did Trump, but suddenly it happened. Why? It happened because definitely something happened in Pakistan, and it. I think America did a wise thing by doing what it did. Many people might disagree with me, but otherwise we might have ended up with something more. Okay. Or things in Pakistan would have gone bad. At the end of the day, a nuclear blast anywhere is bad. Let's get that fundamental thing straight. Okay. So it's bad for many things. Two blasts happened in the last century. We still keep discussing about it. So why should it happen in India or Pakistan for that matter? And you live through it for the next century and you'll never forget it. So I think that bit you have to understand. But after that, if you see, there is a lot of things which are happening. So you need to understand this in a wider perspective, and we will have a section on this. In fact, there's a popular thing, Shriya, maybe the next time we should talk of India-US relations
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the context of Op Sindoor.
Yeah.
sure.
I mean,
Right? Maybe.
there is no. Yesterday, I answered this question because somebody had asked me on a channel. So I said, it's not two and two tango. They're not doing a tango with each other. Somewhere, both are feeling that because of a particular action, they are able to contain both. US is able to contain China. China is able to contain India. There seems to be some kind of a convergence of interest wherein India is caught in the center, or in this kind of
Yeah.
dynamics which is going on. So we need a little more deeper analysis of this. It will take a lot of time for us to explain this.
We'll have a full session on this. I think so.
Yeah, sounds good, sir. Next question to General Dushyant Singh. Srinivasa Verma wants to know, good evening, sir. Where is Russia? We can't count on USA/chicken neck east of West Bengal.
I always feel that Russia has been one constant partner of India, and we cannot just forego Russia. Russia will remain our continuous partner even in the future, come what may. Whether the Chinese are close to Russia or whether the US and Russia are against each other, they will keep talking based on their interest. I was speaking to a RAND analyst, a senior fellow, and he said, well, if you can do what you can do, we can also do what we can do. We were talking of, why has suddenly US equated India and Pakistan on the same. It was in the initial stages when Trump had given that statement, and we were having a discussion next day. So Derek said, well, if you can not address our concerns, meaning that we went to Russia, we have continued our relations with Russia, then we also can go the way we want to go. Maybe he was a associate fellow of RAND, so not very senior fellow RAND, so not a very senior person in the hierarchy. But the mood you can gauge from the fact that if it is coming from Rand, I think there is something like that. This kind of a feeling is there. So we will
General Ravi
negotiate.
Shankar,
Nothing wrong in it. We will negotiate this also.
next one. General Ravi Shankar, it's for you, sir. My respect to General Ravi Shankar for his service to a great nation. What is the permanent solution to this problem and the Bangladesh problem?
Look, my view on Pakistan is very simple. It's a contra view to everyone. Pakistan needs to break if you want to get rid. You'll have different set of problems, but the macro problem will go. Is it easy? It is not easy. Let me also put it across. But you need to have the political will to do it. Many people will disagree with me, but that's the final solution, right? But you can't wish it away. The Bangladesh problem is completely different. Don't equate that with this. They're two different problems altogether. You see, the logic is Pakistan is always been an unnatural state. An unnatural state, it cannot naturalize. It has to only break into its constituent parts. That's my logic. You don't go around breaking Pakistan on its own. Throughout history, the other side of Indus has never been under any one country, ever. Okay, I'm talking of historical thing, and that's a disturbed land. If you the Indus Valley civilization, when did it die out? When people there moved out. Why did people move out from the Indus Valley? Just think, go back into time. There was some disturbance, isn't it? So throughout history, that area, Indus, has been an area of disturbance. It's no different now. Just because there's an unnatural state like Pakistan, it doesn't mean there's no disturbance. There is disturbance. One day it will break, and you just have to aid breaking it. That's it.
Next question to you, General Dushyant Singh. Thank you, Akshar. Can you or General invite General GD Bakshi or maybe even General Naravane to our podcast? I leave this to General Ravi Shankar.
No,
I
they are
can
not
try.
my cup of tea.
I can try
Uh,
Jan Naravi if they are so keen on it. But I mean, it's up to him whether he wants to come or not. He was the ex-chief, and the only thing is
mm.
that we are from the same school, so that
But
Look,
advantage.
we can
as a
host it on P
principal,
Gurus anytime.
now as a principal, I don't call ex-chiefs. This is my
Yes. I
principle.
thought so too. I thought so too. Yeah.
I don't
Yes.
call ex-chiefs.
That's too close to
So,
the seat of power. Yes. Yeah.
and although he has been going around, that's a different matter.
Mhm. That's it. That's up to him, but I will not call him.
This is for you, General Dushyant Singh. Naresh Nilakantan wants to know, do we think we should start thinking on defense exports if we have enough production beyond our defense needs? We should not this bus, General.
I absolutely agree with him. We have to think about exports because that's the only way we can offset our import bills. And today, if there are two factors which are actually pulling back our economy, that is oil, and the second is the defense imports. And if our industry can rise up to the occasion, there are certain equipment which we can straight away go ahead and look at exports as a market.
Next one. Thank you. It's me thinking for becoming YouTube member. Next question, please. General Ravi Shankar. Satya Narayanan wants to know, what if America pressurizes us to release Indus water as they intervene in Op Sindoor? Would India be able to resist it?
Look, this is something, America cannot do anything about. Let me be very honest. Why? You want us to release water, release it. The trick in the Indus Water Treaty is not giving water or withholding water. That's not the thing. It is in uncertainty. It is in building uncertainty and irregularity. A farmer wants water regularly. Okay. Sarso, which you know, mustard. Mustard crop requires 5 waters. Other 5 times it is watered throughout its cropping season. If it doesn't get crops that water at that right time, it withers or it doesn't flower. It doesn't give you that output. Now the point is that is fixed. Now if the water is delayed by say 10 days or 1 week, You'll still have the crop, but it will be a poor crop. So the farmer wants water when he needs it. He should get it on his door, on his field. You can build this, and no one can stop you. No one can stop you today. You don't need canals, and all that. No one can stop you today.
Yeah,
Then the
I'm
stop.
from, I'm from a farmer's family.
Ah,
Untimely rain spoils our crop.
finished.
I mean, answer is in that. That's all.
Answer in that. Okay. Yeah.
This is for General Dushyant Singh. Vishal Singh wants to know who is funding Pakis to create this fake narrative.
Pakis are, born with a silver spoon. I would put it that way. They have a geography which attracts so many people. It's like a honey, honey which attracts so many guys. So geography has been a very good savior for them, and it was, I think, created with that aim. You know, when this particular nation was artificial nation, as we talk about, was carved out with that particular aim, that with a long term vision, and the British were quite. I think they had a good foresight to ensure that this nation doesn't wither away, but it doesn't even flourish. So, like I keep saying, it will remain in a liquid oxygen, continuing to float itself, float itself up. Till something happens, there will be some guy funding them. I mean, the Chinese are doing it in any case.
Thank you, Bharat Ved Prakash. How did India do precision strikes while Russia could not? This is for General Ravi Shankar.
Yeah, we had good missile systems. BrahMos is a fantastic missile system, one. Number two is that we have very good intelligence about Pakistan. I don't think the Russians had this. That's my gut feeling, right? And I don't think they anticipated, this getting involved in such a long fight. Now, what happens is when you're in such a long fight, you don't know whether your precision works or not. And you hammered so many targets, the targets don't exist. So the precision doesn't count. It's not that Russian missiles were not precise. The targets became imprecise. You know, they're not
Next
targets.
question to
Yeah.
Next question to General Dushyant Singh. Rahul Naithani Nalthani. Is Taiwan happy with the outcome of Op Sindoor? Why would they not be?
They should be happy. I mean, it's like, my enemy is being addressed by somebody else. Good for it. Because after all, Chinese had a lot of stake in this operations, and they have got a beating. That is something which even the Taiwanese realize.
See, we
So
have the
Chinese would have been
PL-15
on top of
missile.
the world. Chinese
You
would
have
have
the
been on top of the
PL-15
world
missile.
had we even dropped one aircraft. They would have bloated like a. अभी तो बिना कुछ without anything happening, these guys are bloating around. Imagine if something had happened to our armed forces, these guys would have been on top of the roof
Mhm.
shouting about the glory. Now they have to use a flex board behind a tank to announce that they have done X, Y, Z.
XYZ, yeah. And not
General
only that,
Roshan, I wanted to add to that.
I want to add the very important thing. See, everyone will be very happy, Taiwan, US, everyone, because that PL-15 missile which we have is gold. You know how to counter it. And it's not easy for China to manufacture another missile and put it up in any near time frame. Second, they will ask us how we have neutralized their HQ-9B systems. They're, what all did we do to disrupt their communications? Third, you have now actually known how this JT-10C behaves. We have information about China and its missile systems and its weaponry. This is gold for anyone. This is gold. Okay. So if someone tells me, no, Pakistan has won the war and we are lost, I think China has lost. Its weapons
Even
are
more.
exposed on two counts. One, their vulnerabilities are now known. And second, we know that they can be defeated and they're not so great.
Proxy war has
Uh,
its own dangers. Proxy war has its own dangers. While proxy, you can cover your CYA, but if your proxy loses, then your CYA doesn't get covered.
Work, work.
Vasu Iyengar wants to know, and this is for General Dushyant Singh, although it's directed
Yeah,
toward
that's
General
okay.
Ravi Shankar, sir. Feel free to answer also, sir. How do we
Yeah,
counter the narrative war? Our media channels need to be more mature to capture the international audience.
I tend to agree here. I mean, see, we are matching jingoism to jingoism. There is a need for us to have mature discussions, bring out, I mean, connect with the international media as well. Our people must reach out to the international media. Why only Pakistan? There's no harm if if the people who are in power go out into international media and speak about our operations, our successes, etc. It's a very valid point. I tend to agree with him. This was
Thank you,
a
sir. Next question. Next question for General Ravi Shankar. Thank you so much. I can't read the language here, but thanks for the donation. Entire Hollywood was used to show USA as a savior and Russia as devil. But Russia is a master of the information warfare. What should be the Indian way? General Ravi Shankar.
Yeah, I think Hollywood gives you a good way. Hollywood gives you a good way. You see, just think. We have seen so many pictures coming out. You have some pictures against Pakistan. How many pictures do we have against China? And the impact of Bollywood is huge. It is not only in India, it's also in Middle East. It's also in many other places. So we are underutilizing Bollywood. In fact, some of our Bollywood people are probably compromised by Pakistan, and we need to do a
What do you mean
whitewash out
some
there.
of what do you mean some of our Bollywood people, sir?
No, I know what I'm being nice about it. That's about all. Okay, you need to do a whitewash out there, right? And there's no doubt about it. And we need to have our own media way of doing things. And my view is that, the power of truth. Truth has its own power. Okay, we are not using that. That's something which we are not using.
This question is for General Dushyant Singh. Raja Raman wants to know, when will the US and West stop funding Pakistan?
This is a question which I can't answer, and I actually answered it a few questions back. That there are interests of both US and China in this, so they will continue to get their bare minimum essential requirements to keep afloat.
Thank you, thought provocateur. Trump should now be kept in permanent limbo state. Next question, please. Thank you so much, thought provocateur. Thank you, Kumar Reddy, for becoming a YouTube member. This is for General Ravi Shankar. Kumar Reddy wants to know, Generals, what's your take on Zogam land statement made by current Mizoram incumbent CM while he was doing foreign trip in USA? Will this be a threat in long term for Bharat and Far East? Sir.
Look, what he must understand the context in which he was talking. Okay, and he was talking of a cultural construct. He was not talking of a physical construct. And we need to understand that cultural construct of the Northeast. I'll not go into that because it takes a lot of explaining, but please go into Ghana shot. General Shokin Chauhan and I have done a talk on this, and it elicited a lot of response, good, bad, and ugly. But we put this point across. There's a difference between the Mizo nation, the way they look at it, right, or the Zone nation as they look at it. The Zone nation is a nation of people of the same variety. He was not talking of this thing. In fact, the way I look at it, we have not utilized this cultural construct to our benefit. If you had used this cultural construct to your benefit, then you would have control over parts of Myanmar and parts of Bangladesh. Instead of looking at it the other way around, look at it the positive way. That's the way I looked at it always.
Next question from General Dushyant Singh. Shankar wants to know, Generals, wouldn't a fractured Pakistan be more unpredictable for India since the terrorists might run amok?
Not really, not really. Fractured Pakistan would be more amenable to manipulations. So therefore, let them remain in this kind of a half stable, half unstable situation. If they are given too much of a stability, also that might actually prove harmful to us, because ultimately what will happen is they will start focusing on the eastern border. Our aim should be they should continue to focus on the western border so that our borders remain safe. So the western border has to remain unstable. That's my take as a military man, not as a diplomat, and I'm very clear about it.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Logic Wins, and thank you, Minimalist. He's saying Bangladesh provoking with an airport near chicken. Sir, kal ke liye paisa nahi hai. They don't have money to pay the electricity bill. What airport are they going to build? I'm not even going to bother answering this question. Thank you so much, General Dushyant Singh, General Ravi Shankar. Sir, General Dushyant Singh, we try to make it on Fridays, 9:30 p.m. General Ravi Shankar and I have a permanent slot. Sir, anytime you feel like you have some time, please feel free to join us on that slot, because I think having this 360-degree view at questions helps enrich everybody's knowledge. Thank you once again. You made it even though it was a little bit late. You told me you were going to be a little bit late. Thank you so much, sir, and we'll see you again very soon. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Namaskar. Jai Hind.